Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Kortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. I'm your host, Corson Schmidt. Here today, I have Lance Orso, a powerhouse in the powersports industry with over 23 years of experience. From humble beginnings, leaving school in 9th grade, to becoming the general manager at Dallas Harley-Davidson, Lance's journey is a testament to drive passion. He's a battle of the King's Dirt champion and founder of Streetwise Coach. Lance is known for his hands-on leadership, authentic approach to customer relationship, and his commitment to building lasting community in the world of Harley-Davidson. Get ready for a conversation about grit, motorcycles, and what it really takes to ride your own path in life and business. It's great to have you on, Lance.
And I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no worries. So, Lance, you left high school in the 9th grade and have now built a remarkable career in the motorcycle industry. What motivated you to pursue this journey in motorcycles, in Harley-Davidson, and how did it all get started?
Man, motorcycles, they were my life ever since I was a little kid. You know, I was fortunate enough, my father rode, my uncles rode, my grandfather rode, like it was kind of just a path that I was destined to take, I think. I raced forever. Racing was my deal. I loved racing motocross. I raced all over the country. Was very fortunate with that to race for quite a long time. And that was kind of the reason for leaving, high school when I did, is we were racing so much and traveling. I was getting in trouble for truancy because, we would go to these national events that took weeks at a time and they weren't digging that. So I made the focus to go to homeschool. You go to homeschool, and when you're racing motorcycles, school goes on the back burner a lot of times. You stop thinking about the school and start thinking about racing. So that's kind of what happened. I took a bunch of classes after the fact just to learn while I was still racing, because I wanted to be smart. I wanted to know, different things education-wise. But yeah, that took precedent over everything for me. But when I was 17, I suffered a few injuries right in a row. Was dealing with some pretty heavy concussion stuff, had a few broken bones around that time, and I had to get a regular job to pay the bills. So I got a job at a local dirt bike shop working in the parts department, and that started this wild 23-year journey.
That's amazing. What kind of bike did you drive when you were racing? Or was it did you have a little bit of mix? You didn't stick to one specific
I kind of had
bike?
a mix. I had the first dirt bike ever is the Yamaha. Of course, every kid starts on their little P-Dub Yamaha, starts riding it up through there. Then we switched over to Suzuki at one point, and then I landed a pretty decent deal with Honda. So I was riding Hondas for quite some time. And I actually had a friend when I was kind of winding my career down and was kind of thinking, okay, I want to get older, do some vet races and do this. I had a buddy that worked for what at the time was Rockstar Suzuki. He was one of their in-house mechanics that traveled with that race team. And I ended up getting a hold of one of the factory race bikes from them, which was pretty sick. And he brought it back from California for me to train with, and I ended up keeping it. So I ended up back on Suzuki. So it made a big circle for me.
That's awesome. You can't go wrong with Suzuki. That's what I drove, an RM85 for the longest time. But
they're solid.
Anymore.
It's kind of outdated. They're the outdated ones of the moto world now, though. They're the only ones left with a kickstart. Everybody else has gone electric, and they're still hanging on, which I think is kind of cool.
Even with the new race bikes, like even the 2-stroke race bikes are electric, eh?
Well, they got only 4-stroke now, so I think it was 07 maybe. Don't quote me on that. They got rid of the 2-stroke, and everybody switched to the 250F, 450.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ken Roxon, is racing the RMZ 450 right now on Supercross, and he's still got a kickstart on it. They call him Kickstart Kenny for that reason.
That's crazy. I'm surprised, especially in the racing world, that they would adapt to an electric starter, because it adds a little bit more weight, and it can obviously make a difference between a win and a loss, right?
And it's interesting. I've been fortunate to ride some of the new dirt bikes because, I still have a deal for it. Promised my family I'd quit riding moto because I haven't figured out that off switch yet. And I'm, 38 years old, but still feel like I'm 16, and I'll still go out and send it. So I have to keep myself calm, but it's crazy. Like I've been fortunate, been able to ride some with the electric start, with the Recluse clutch, and just the technology nowadays with these bikes is insane. Like it's totally next level. I had away from that back to Harley, I had the opportunity to ride the Harley-Davidson Pan America before they released it to the public. And I got to go to the Mojave Desert and spend a week riding that thing across the desert, all over,
That's
really kind of
sweet.
testing it and beating that bike. And like the technology on that Harley would outperform the technology on some of my old dirt bikes, just handling wise, suspension wise, everything, just at that level, not racecraft wise or anything, but just like the suspension. And I'm only going back thinking 15 years ago, and now
Yeah.
Harley's got stuff at that level.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I've never been on a new bike. We had the old RM, and I don't drive bikes myself. I'm a big car guy. Build my own
Right.
vehicles. I've always wanted to get a bike, but
I
never
love
did
it.
get a streak bike. But so you're now the GM at Dallas Harley-Davidson. What were some pivotal moments or turning points that really helped you rise through the ranks, starting off as a parts guy up to management now?
Unfortunately, like some of my promotions came from others' downfalls. I had a great parts manager that I started with that really taught me the ropes of parts. And we went out riding one day, we're riding moto, and he broke his pelvis and his femur.
Oh no.
So then it was like
That's
we
a
get
rough
back to the
day.
shop on Tuesday, and everybody's like, "Well, he's going to be out 6 months. Who knows how to receive parts?" So it's like, okay, I'll learn receiving, and I'll learn shipping, and okay, I've got to do all the ordering now, and I've got to do this. And then we had an incident where the service manager, he had an accident, and I was doing parts of service at the time, and they're like, "Well, you got to learn some of the service stuff now too." I'm like, "All right, man." So it was literally just me kind of jumping in and figuring it out, and then I did that for like 6 years. 2013 rolled around. I may be off on that number, but 2013 is when I went to work for Harley-Davidson. And I had the opportunity to go in as a sales guy. And I had a lot of big hype from guys in the industry that I'd known. They're like, "Man, you do great with Harley. You need to go over to Harley." And my whole family had been riding Harley. So I'm like, let's give that a go. And within 2 years, I'm one of the top salespeople in the country, but it was just grinding and good leadership. Like I had a lot of really good leaders and mentors, not even on the management side, like more on the sales side too. I would watch guys' techniques and learn really what they were doing. And I was really good, in my opinion, at adapting to my surroundings and learning what was going on. And it paid off. And I always wanted more. Like I always wanted to take that next step. If the opportunity came up and somebody said, "Hey, do you want to go to this class?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go to that class. I want to do everything," because sales, in my opinion, isn't a huge education driven business. It's more of reps and learning and doing it over and over and over again. And you're going to get good if you keep dialing it in and keeping your process going. So I wanted to learn all I could all the time of what the best guys in the business were doing and how they were innovating and staying ahead. So
For
that's
sure.
just how I attack that with everything.
That's awesome. Speaking of coaching and you learning, you founded Streetwise Coach. Can you speak a little bit about that and kind of the foundation of that and how that got started and what you're doing with Streetwise?
So I wanted to help people with, I went through a thing and I discussed it. I've discussed it with several people during COVID, especially in power sports. And I know it happened in the automotive world too. People were getting stimulus checks, we're getting money, we're able to stay home, we're able to do this. And especially in the power sports side, people were like, "Oh, I stay at home now. I'm still making the same money, but now I've got time to go out on a boat and I've got time to go out on the side by sides. Oh, I got time to go out and ride my Harley because I'm home already." So the power sports industry blew up, the internet leads quadrupled, and people were just coming in the dealership with unlimited funds and great credit and were buying. And it killed the salesperson. COVID, in my opinion, killed great salespeople because it made you not have to go out and work for it. It made, especially in power sports, that person in Harley that comes in to buy a t-shirt, converting them into a bike sale. That was gone. Like, and now you have to be that. You have to be that person. You have to be on your A game. And I feel, it died. The salesperson died during COVID. So I wanted to take it back old school. And I do, some YouTube little clips. I've done a few podcasts through it. I have some people that I work with on the side that I help them with processes. They bounce everything. But Streetwise was more of a passion project for me to keep that salesperson alive and bring back old school traditional sales. Yeah, we're in a digital age, but when that person walks through the door, you still have to give them everything you've got. You've got to give them that show because in the Harley world, well, where I'm at, we're in DFW, there's 8 dealerships within an hour. You mess up, you mess up just a little bit, you're done. They're going to go to the next guy. That next guy is going to give them everything they want, and not price wise or anything like that. They're going to give them the show. They come in for the show. There's guys that wait their entire life to buy a Harley-Davidson, and you better be on your A game the second they walk in the door and give them everything they've expected for the last 40 years.
Yeah, no, that's a great point that you made about COVID there, because it's true. A lot of people would have been looking more online to buy vehicles, buy anything, right?
Yeah,
Everyone would have lost a lot of
100%.
their sales process over those few years, and it just flew by, and no one, I bet you no one realized that they lost their skills. And even the people walking in the door were probably like, what the hell? What's going on? I'm not getting sold like I used to before COVID. So
yeah,
I love that
it's wild. I did a speaking engagement a while back with a homeowners group, actually, or a home building group. It was great. I got to sit down with some other dudes that were big in retail industry, not just in automotive or power sports, home building, and a fashion, and a guy who was in the bicycle industry, and really got to listen to them. And the funny thing, like, just overall being around those people, it wasn't just an automotive or power sports deal. It was complete every market. Like, salespeople just went to crap.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would have never thought of it. Now that you bring that up, it definitely makes sense, right?
I mean,
That's
look at
crazy.
internet teams now. People are tripling up on their internet teams and pulling back on their sales staff.
Yeah, yeah, it's totally true. Yeah. So speaking of that sales process, how do you approach building that genuine customer relationship with that strong Harley-Davidson community, both in and out of that dealership?
We create a friend before a sell. That's the whole thing. If I can create a friend, the sell's the easy part. And with Harley-Davidson, you're not selling a motorcycle. You're selling the lifestyle that comes along with owning that motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like, my shop's dead this week, and we're in Texas, and it's dead because Sturgis is going on. Like, literally everyone's up in Sturgis right now for the bike rally, and we know, I can almost pinpoint to the day it's going to start slowing down to the day it starts picking back up off of what rallies are doing and what rides are doing. So that's what I'm selling people on. I'm selling people on that dream that they've had of packing up and riding across the country and going and creating memories. That's what we sell. And we're fortunate on that, especially compared to automotive. Like, a lot of people don't go into an automotive place to buy a truck because they want to drive it across the desert or go do something cool,
Yeah.
But with Harley, that's what they're huge on. They want to have that experience. That's what I'm selling, is an experience every single time.
Selling that outcome, let them visualize what they're going to do with it, and then
and that's what you do.
You right into their hands, right?
Yeah, you set them on the bike, and you're like, okay, this is this. And as soon as their hands touch the handlebars, you can see their brain go, oh yeah, this is it. Or their wife gets on the back, and they're like, yeah, that. They're already feeling it. They've already got the vibes.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. Yeah. Was Harley the first street bike spot that you worked at before working at the motocross shops?
I worked at a Yamaha and Suzuki dealership, and we did Polaris as well. So we had like sport bikes and stuff like that. And I did some sport bike stuff for a while, of course, being young and stupid. And my dad was doing some real pivotal stuff in the sport bike stunt world back in the day with stunt cages and stuff like that. So I kind of automatically went into those things, and wasn't really my scene. And I will say it was funny because I adapted to it real quick. Like, racing moto, because racing moto, if you've ever ridden a dirt bike, you're slightly out of control all the time. The rear wheel's breaking loose, front end sliding, but you're in control and out of control. So getting on a sport bike with wide tires that hooks up on everything, and you can kind of throw it around and do your own thing. It was really easy, and I got bored with it real quick, honestly. Like, I was over it. But that was the first like street stuff that we were doing, and most of the time we were in parking lots playing. Sometimes we get on the highway and cause a ruckus. But I bought my first Harley at 25. My first one that I bought myself. And I was like, after the first day of riding, I was like, I get it. I 100% get this. Yeah, so once I, purchased the first bike, it changed everything. Like, I realized it makes selling a lot easier. It made selling Harleys a lot easier because you could go to people and talk to them about those experiences that you were having on the motorcycle. And I finally felt like I could relate to people.
Sure, for sure. What did you buy as your first bike?
A 2010 Wide Glide. that was owned by one of the sales guys who I became really good friends with. He had traded it, and I'm like, man, I always thought that bike was so sick. And I ended up buying it, and dude, I rode that thing everywhere. Like 365, I didn't care if it was raining out, cold. But I remember I bought it in February, and it was freezing. And they were like, "We'll just deliver it to your house." I'm like, "No, I'm riding it. I'm riding it. I don't care. We're going." And I think I rode that thing like 5 hours that day.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. I've always liked the Nightsters. Those have always been my cup of tea. I don't know why. They're just clean. They're simple. Blacked
That's a
out
cool
look
bike.
just looks good. I don't know much about them. I've seen them. Dad used to have a Sportster back in the day. Are they a good
Right.
bike? Is it something nice to get on?
Yeah, it's good, especially for somebody wanting to get in the market and really get to riding. The Nightster was kind of the big hype bike, the first one, and then Harley followed up with the Iron 883. It looked a lot like a Nightster, but it was an 883, good entry level bike. I'm still real disappointed they got rid of that bike. Actually, that bike was, man, you could crush it with them. The margins weren't huge, but the thing was, the customer retention off that bike was so solid because you'd sell it to somebody and then you could buy it back 2 years later for what they paid for it, essentially, and then sell it to the next person, and that person's moved up to a Softail or a Dyna at the time. Now we don't have Dynas, but they go to the Softail, and then you get them in the whole life cycle after that. That bike was the best thing for entry level Harley Davidson riders.
For sure, for sure. And hey, maybe I'll get one in the near future. Come to Dallas and pick up a bike from you guys.
You're gonna have to.
If I'm in the area, I'll stop by, come check the bikes out.
I love
What
it.
are some of the biggest industry shifts or industry trends that you're seeing at the moment within the motorbike industry or even power sports industry?
Harley as a whole, is kind of its own little thing. Fortunately, we can live off heritage and tradition, but it has been a little bit of a roller coaster. We had points where there wasn't enough inventory, then we're oversaturated with inventory, and then it's like, okay, let's pull back a little bit and try to conserve, try to hit the retail target still, but still conserve. But then the used bike market goes nuts, and now we have a month and a half supply of used bikes, and I need a 3 month supply. So inventory has been a roller coaster from new to used. I mean, all the way across the board, which I think it's been in all markets. I think inventory has been a pretty crazy issue for a lot of people. And then digital. Harley's, we're so dialed on digital now, and we're still so far behind the automotive industry. But that's been a massive shift. The door swings are half of what they used to be, but we could still sell the same amount of units. So
Sure. Yeah.
I would say that's been between the digital side and the inventory side, that's been the roller coaster for sure.
Can you speak a little bit more on the digital? Do you mean like people finding the bike online and buying it without even looking at the bike, or is that what you mean by
Yeah,
that?
I mean, and the thing with that too, you're getting a lot more customers from out of state or out of your DAT city limits and all that, because you could search anything anywhere. I mean, we can find any bike in the world right now with 2 clicks.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people are doing that, and a lot of people are shopping. They're touching your website 2 to 3 times before they ever even submit a lead, let alone walk in the door.
Mm-hmm.
So, your inventory has to be, your digital presence and digital footprint has to be so dialed right now.
For sure.
It
And that's
has
with any
to be.
business, right?
Yeah, 100%. But especially, I think Harley was kind of in my opinion, one of the later ones to the party, because we were able to live off that bar and shield, and people are going to drop in, people are going to look. But now, you've got to have 18 pictures of every bike. Your description has to be so dialed. Like everything just has to be perfect, where we've never really had to deal with that before.
Yeah, for sure.
The
And
SEO battles. I mean, everyone like battling for that top spot too. It's like, oh, let's go get in these people's zip codes and cause a ruckus and this and that. It is what it is. It's business, and that's the direction it's going. But yeah, that's been the wildest thing to watch for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you guys adapt to this? Do you guys bring teams on to help stay ahead of all these trends to make sure that you guys are the number one, say SEO, or number one in the marketing, to make sure you guys are relevant, getting in front of customers, making sure you're getting those conversions as well?
Yeah. And, we're a part of a pretty large dealer group, so that helps too. We've got a really good digital team on the backside of everything that really makes sure our marketing budgets are on point. Our marketing in general is on point, that making sure that we're attacking every direction we can. Like the one thing that shocked me is we were spending a lot of money on radio advertisement. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like, why would you do that? Like, I don't know the last time I turned a radio on. Like, I listen to podcasts and Spotify.
Yeah.
But once we kind of really looked at it, dude, the leads we were getting popped off of radio advertisements still blew my mind. I couldn't believe that radio was still pumping what it does. And that's why I have a good team on the backside to tell me that. They're showing me the numbers like, hey, these ads ran at this time and you're getting leads at this time and traffic looks like this. I was like, oh, cool. Like, and I'm watching it, I'm paying attention, but it wasn't making any sense to me, but my team's on top of it.
For sure. Yeah, you say radio ads in our house when I was growing up. We had a radio sitting in the corner, always on, always radio on, so you hear the radio ads. And I don't think it's something that's eventually going to die, but there's a lot of houses that are like the house I grew up in. There has to be radio on all the time, listening to something in the background, and ads are the things that catch your eye, right? You hear the songs, you hear the ads, they catch your ear. You're gonna, if you have something catchy or even hear Harley-Davidson because of the name, you're gonna remember that. Especially
and a lot of our ads start with a motor revving. We do like a Harley rev, so you're like, what the hell? Like it catches your attention. That's what it does. We ran an advertisement the other day that, well, it hasn't even popped yet. I don't know if I can even talk about it. I don't care. It's this WTF, like huge on the flyer.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And it's literally just catch your attention. I mean, if I'm scrolling through and I see WTF, I'm gonna be like, what? And then it's a Harley advertisement. I'm like, hey, but it made me look.
Yeah, that's all that matters, right? It's all about catching that first attention, get people to watch at least the first 3 seconds of that clip, or even just look over, scan through that photo.
Yep, 100%.
Are there any new innovations, whether that be new bikes coming out here in the near future that you know about, sales, service, or community that you are particularly excited to announce or particularly excited about?
I will say the RR this year, that was a big one. This 131 RR Harley that they did, $110,000 retail price on it. It's the most expensive production Harley ever made. There's only 131 in the country. And dude, as soon as it went live, I got blown up with people wanting to buy that thing. And I'm like, man, so I went through, being the nerd I am, and I built a Road Glide and I built it to spec of what that one would be. And I was in it more money in aftermarket parts than it actually cost OEM parts from the factory. I was like, damn, like that's got some pretty game-changing, innovative stuff on it. And fortunately, we were able to sell it to a really good customer of ours. We have a customer, man. He's bought so many bikes from us, and he's like, I've got to have that thing. And we were extremely fortunate to be able to sell it to him. It was exciting. But it arrived this week, and oh my God, dude. Once I saw it in person, I was like, oh, like it all makes sense now. I'm like, I get the vision. And fortunately, he's a good friend. And he's like, go ride that thing. He's out of town right now. And he's like, take it and go ride. I'm like, I don't want to ride your $130,000, $110,000 motorcycle.
What did you say that was called?
Do what?
What did you say the bike was called?
The CVO RR, Harley-Davidson RR. They made 131 of them.
I'm just looking it up right now.
Yeah, it's got a 131 crate motor in it, full Olin suspension. Everything's carbon fiber on it, custom built swing arm, custom built controls. I mean,
that thing looks pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, I took it out and rode it, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is it. But there's been talk that they're saying they want to do something like that every year, which is cool because that's that collector. I mean, that's those guys that buy that. That's that one specific thing they want, and they're about it. And I know I've heard there was a dealer, and I won't name names, in the U.S. that did a raffle for it, or a auction, and brought a bunch of high roller customers in, and I heard it went for 7 figures because it was number one.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah. And it's a really smart play by Harley because you're getting like that supercar, that super bike like you never really had like you had the sport bikes
Yeah.
to be kind of like a Lambo, but this is like a Rolls Royce of a bike, man. Like it can
Dude,
go,
and
but it looks
like,
good at the same time.
and I was probably a hater, honestly, at first. I was like, dude, like we're charging that, like it ain't gonna be that cool. I've built cool bikes, I've done cool shit in my life, and that thing showed up, and I was like, whoa, like it shut me up real quick. I was like, okay, Harley hit, because another thing I probably get in trouble for on this, but I always, and I think it's just because I'm so loyal to the brand and loyal to what I do, like when they build a bike or it comes from the factory, there's always one or two things I'm like, oh, why'd they do that? Or, oh, they missed on that one. And I think it's probably that way in the automotive world too. You nitpick it because you expect perfection.
Yeah.
And I was expecting that with this one. I'm looking at pictures. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but that's stupid. And I'm not a fan of that. And, I'm not always going to be a fan of the things people think are cool anyways. But it showed up and I was like, oh, dude, they hit everything. Like they did not miss at all.
I feel like that's a Harley reputation, though. Like a lot of their bikes that they have built have been pretty solid bikes, and there hasn't been many issues with them. Can you agree with me?
There's been some swing and misses. I mean, minor stuff, but I will say this: Harley is so good at covering the issues that they do have, and they're so good at fixing them so that the next models don't deal with those same issues.
For sure.
The Pan America, when it first came out, it had some little fuel pump things, a couple little electrical things that people struggled with. And the first gen put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth because everybody was so hyped about this adventure bike that Harley was doing. And 1 in every 5 would have some weird little nitpick stuff go wrong with it. And, in the past few years, they were like, okay, let's fix this. And that bike's dialed. Those things don't have any issues. I have one of my best friends. He rides all around the world on it, and he has a first gen and a second gen. The first gen's done a couple little things, but we've got them fixed. But I mean, 40 and 50,000 miles. Oh, excuse me, hard miles. He's pounded on this thing. I mean, like the first week he had it, he smacked it through the side of a truck and cartwheeled it, picked it back up, and it kept running.
That's nuts.
I mean, he's just gnarly on these bikes, and I think like the radiator is still shoved back on one side, beside one of the side panels, and there's a beer can jammed in between it so that it doesn't rest on the exhaust, and it's still there.
That's awesome.
And this thing's still running. Yeah, he's got a dope podcast too. His name's Danger Dan. Danger Dan's Talk Shop, and he talks about a lot of the crazy stuff he does. And I've been involved in a few of his crazy ideas, and it's been an awesome ride. But yeah, that bike. When Harley said they were making an adventure bike, I'm like, man, we're 15 years behind BMW. KTM's been doing this forever. Is this a smart move for them to get in this market? And they called, and I flew to Mojave and spent that week in Mojave riding it. And I was like, okay, they've got something, because I've ridden a lot of adventure bikes from the KTM to the BMW. And I would say the Harley stock right off the bat outhandled them by far. So that amped me up right off the bat with that bike.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about bikes in general or adventure bikes.
Yeah.
But I just looked it up there. It's a pretty sweet looking bike, man. Like
it is.
And you don't see many adventure bikes around. Like it's something that you don't see them around, but people that ride them, they seem like people when you talk, I know people that have a couple. They seem to love them, man. Like whether it be any adventure bike, they seem to love them. Now,
dude, they nerd out industry, adventure people
know everything
are
about them, and
wildest.
that's like all they know is their adventure bike.
Dude, like we had to get all new adventure gear, helmets, everything just for that adventure bike customer, just to keep up with what they were doing on the BMW side. It was like, it's almost cultish, but it's awesome.
That's awesome, man. No, speaking of industry trends that we were speaking about before, do you see more manufacturers coming out with more of like an electric bike, or do you think that's something that's still going to stay in the gutter for now because everyone still wants that ICE engine, man. They still want that chop noise, and that's why a lot of people drive is for that chop, right? Everyone wants that loud bike that you can race through the town and stir some shit up, right?
I hope not. I am I am a red-blooded American that loves chaos and horsepower, and I like loud. I like, for I it's funny. Yeah, I mean, that's you hear a Harley blasting down the highway just wide open with some good pipes on it. It's just like, yeah, that's it. I mean, even a cool car, a cool, like, new school but muscle. Like, you hear it and you're like, the other day we got passed by a Corvette, one of the new ones, and I don't know if it was Bassani or what he had on it, but it sounded tough. It just you could
Yeah,
hear him coming, and I'm like, it's Corvette. I mean, is that the coolest thing in the world? No, but did it sound sick? Yeah, like
yeah,
that was freedom. We have a lake house out here, and they do an air show every 4th of July. We're Americans. 4th of July is like our
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And we got blitzed by an F-16. We're standing on the boat dock, and he just comes over full tilt, ripping. And I look at my daughter, and I'm like, you know what that is? That's the sound of freedom. And
Literally.
that's the same feeling I get when I hear a bike just ripping. Like, that's freedom to go out and cause chaos. And is electric cool? Yeah, dude. I'll say it's cool. The Insta Power's pretty rad. Not having to shift, not all that stuff. Like, it's cool. But when I only hear a zzz and chain slap, that's not my
Yeah,
jam.
no, definitely not. And same with the cars, right? You're always gonna have that group of people that want that loud vehicle. They want a driver car that they can control. They can do whatever they want to it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can with an electric vehicle, but like it's not the same. You can't hear it. You can't hear it smacking the limiter. You can't hear it like you can't hear it coming into boost if you have a turboed vehicle. Like there's something about having a driver vehicle that a lot of people love, and I don't think that we can get away from that because it's something that so many people enjoy driving.
I
And like I
100%
tell you,
agree.
I hop on that old RM85, and you hear that thing screaming. Man, there's nothing better than hearing something screaming. You're in control, but you're not in control of the
Bro, I tell
bike.
people all the time, like, four strokes are sick. The power delivery's sick. Like, these new bikes are so dope.
They
But
are.
growing up in like 2000, before the four stroke craze came over, I remember my last two stroke was probably 2002. But like
Yeah.
2001, you go to a freaking motocross national where there's 44 dudes on the gate. You can smell that VP race fuel burning. And you hear them things just ripped out coming off the starting gate. Dude, there's no better feeling like than that sound, and even racing at that, like when you're blasting down the start with 40 other two strokes just reckless abandon into the first turn, there's nothing sicker on this earth.
I bet. I never raced bikes, man. I wish I would have hit the track and done some racing, but
Yeah, I can
there's
nerd out
still.
on that all day.
Well, you had the experience, right? So, but yeah,
Yeah,
like
dude,
going
like
back.
it that stuff though. I mean, if motocross racing, in my opinion, creates some kind of tenacity that you can carry through your entire life that will benefit you. The thing is, like, I've seen guys that were at the top of the game that lost racing, you couldn't race anymore, that became addicts because you're constantly chasing that addiction, that adrenaline, and they go find it in drugs or alcohol. I had my
Yeah,
struggles with alcohol back in the day, and I've been sober 13 years. And
congrats,
if you
man.
can take whatever that is, whatever that intensity that gives you balls or the courage to go into a first turn wide open without giving two shits, if you can carry that into your life, nothing will stop you.
For sure. Yeah,
That that
man.
I 100% believe that.
Power sports, bikes, cars, they're so fun, man. Like, there's nothing the same.
Yeah,
Bike is totally different because it's just you and a bike. You can control the bike like you control your fucking hand. But
100%.
cars, man, they're still fun.
Yeah,
'Cause you can tweak them up. You can do what you want. You can get power when you want. But like
my
at the end of the
dude.
day, it's all about having fun, right?
What 100%. And I'm not a car dude. Like, I've never been a car guy. I drive a new Tundra. Like, I'm not big on cars. And my
Yeah,
grandmother went and bought one of the new CTSVs because
yeah,
she's nuts. She's 78 years old and was like, I need this, twin turbo CTSV something or another. And I'm like, that's cool. And I like Cadillacs. I'm like, let me go drive that thing. And I had my lady with me, and we went out, dude. And I found the straightaway by our lake house and unloaded that thing. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like,
They're
oh,
crazy.
that is like, dude, it hit 135. Like, I barely got in it. And I was like, oh, we're cooking. Like, this thing is, and that's probably why I don't need to own one, because I'll have a false sense of security being like, I have a seatbelt on. I can go full stupid right now.
No, fair enough. Yeah, it's pretty. The new modern cars, it's pretty crazy what they can put in for horsepower,
Oh,
and
dude,
it's
it's
still like
nuts.
factory. It's pretty crazy what they're building with vehicles, and
Well, like horsepower in
I'm
general
assuming
on
they're doing
anything.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
bikes too,
that's what I was
right?
getting at
Like,
with motorcycles, dude. That Pan Am, the adventure bike, has 150 horsepower.
oh shit, man,
And I think 470, maybe 470 pounds.
that's crazy. Cause like, well, like, look at cars in the 2000s. They were making less than that
Bro.
factory. You know, you're putting in a two-wheeled bike with a tire that's probably what, 4 inches wide,
Yeah. A
and you're
little
driving.
wider. Yeah. But yeah, it's still,
That's
I 100%. Dude, I came through Red Rock Canyon in California on a stock base model that we were testing. And when I looked down at the speedometer, I was doing 154 and I was cruising. Like, I was just kind of in it, just rolling. I was like, oh crap. And then I was riding up Chimney Peak outside of Lake Isabella in California, and it was a dirt road, dirt fire road. And there's a straightaway leading into it. And I looked down and I had it this, it's like a car. It has different modes, has rain mode, sport mode, all that. And I had an off-road plus. And I looked down, I have it on a GoPro, and I'm doing 112 across the desert. I was like, oh my God, like, dude.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still pulling. It wants more. It was like, give me all you got, dude.
That's nuts. Yeah, especially in something that small that you can control so that it can control you so easily, but you can also
Oh,
control like it's man,
dude.
that's almost scary, dude.
That trip, we had another guy with us. There was a few of us in the desert, and I'm cooking across, and in my mirror, I was like, "What the hell is that?" And like, I look again, there's just dust behind me, and one of those bikes is about 12 feet in the air, cartwheeling. I was like, "Oh, that's not good." So we turn around, and one of the guys that was with us, he stepped off at a pretty high rate of speed and compound tib fib, turned his leg around backwards in the middle of the desert. Yeah, so I mean that was it. We were all doing the exact same thing. It just jumped up and bit him a little quicker, and bam, it was done.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, um, to kind of finish things off here, what are some of the goals for Dallas Harley-Davidson in the next coming years?
Man, to keep pushing it, innovating. Right now I'm huge on lifestyle. I want to bring, like, there's a vibe at that shop. It's kind of the last of the old school Harley dealerships, and I thrive off that. And I love it. I love that we still have that feel that we're, a family business where people come in and hang out when we're not. We're a big corporate entity, but I love the feeling of that. I host a lot of events that we bring. I look at the demographic of, our shop, and I'll have lowrider shows and tattoo festivals in my shop and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And the lowrider show, the last one I had, brought 36 people or 36 cars, big party on a weekend that we should have flopped because I scheduled it the weekend of a bunch of big Dallas events, and I did not plan that out well. But that
Yeah,
crushed it. And people were like, when are y'all doing that again? And then my tattoo parties, I've started having to do them once or twice a year because they're so big. And we have lines
crazy.
waiting around the building to come in, and we're still, crushing bikes that day. The ROI is sick on those events. So it's like I really kind of chase that and get people in the door. I want people to have fun, and that's my way to get a lot of people that would never step foot in a Harley dealership to come in, see a Harley, see the way we are, see the lifestyle, and hopefully grab somebody that had never even thought about owning a Harley and bringing them in. And that's my angle that I'm attacking right now to grow my business and grow the industry still.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. It brings the community together too, right? It's not even brings a bike
Yeah,
community.
I want to build a community and have these lifestyle events where people come. they hang out at the shop because that person's eventually going to buy a bike. They're going to start coming to my bike nights that we throw. They're going to start doing all the stuff with us, and they're going to be in the life cycle forever. Your average Harley owner, if they purchase their first motorcycle around the age of 28 to 30, they're going to spend upwards of $380,000 to $450,000 on the brand in their lifetime.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what keeps it alive. I mean, so we have to do that. We have to cultivate these younger people. We have to bring them in to this lifestyle. And, young people like tattoos. Cool, bring them in. They like car shows. Bring it in. Let's do it. We're bikini contests, whatever it takes to get young people in the door. Get them in and let's do it. And then if we do our job right, we're going to create some people that are going to be hanging out with us the next 15 to 20 years.
For sure. Yeah, totally. And what are some of the biggest challenges for your company to hit those goals? Because maybe there's other business owners or other dealers that are kind of going through some of these same struggles. What are some of?
There's some guys in our market that crush it, and I'm fortunately all of us GMs are pretty good buddies, so I'm friends with them, and we steal so much stuff from each other. It is insane. Like the tattoo parties, that's kind of thrown off, and now my buddy that does the tattoo parties with me, he's pretty popular, well-known tattoo artist. He was in Arizona at one of our dealerships a few weeks ago. He was in Oklahoma a few weeks ago doing stuff. So we're all like, hey, did that work? Yeah, that worked. It's almost like we're looking out for the brand as a whole more than just ourselves, which is really cool. That's that family, that camaraderie we all have together. Like we're willing to say, hey, dude, I tried this. It worked good. Maybe give it a go.
That's awesome. Love the community behind it, right? That's all part of Harley-Davidson's name, right? Bringing the community together, especially working
100%.
together with other dealerships. Where can our listeners find you or connect with you to follow the Harley-Davidson journey or learn more about Dallas Harley-Davidson?
Man, go to Dallas Harley, DallasHarley-Davidson.com, of course, Dallas HD on Instagram. We got some really cool stuff going on. Facebook, all of it. We're on every social media platform. I'm easy to find, Lance Orso. They want to see. I post a lot of the stuff we have going on too, or some of the behind the scenes stuff that I'm probably not allowed to post, but we post it because it's fun and everybody digs it. So look it up, find us, and we want everybody to come hang out. Everyone's welcome at our doors.
For sure. Well, thanks for taking the time today, Lance. Appreciate you coming on, telling us about your experience, about your journey, and man, it's been great speaking with you.
Yeah, man. We'll talk to you later. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see ya.
Thanks.